Hello and welcome to
Hello.
Seriously WTF.
Welcome back to Seriously WTF.
I seriously, sometimes my husband's like, Nar, you have like Siri's voice. So back when I first started my business, I had a line that when you would call and the answering machine, I guess you can call it or whatever. And it was like me saying, hello. Oh my God. So I have like that Siri voice. Make a left turn. I swear to God.
We're going to bring the AI. AI is coming into our episode.
It's so good. Sometimes I impress myself. I'm like, oh my God, I do sound like Siri. Ask me at 11 o'clock at night. I come up with different accents too. I'm just joking.
That would be fun.
I'm so dumb.
That would be fun to hear.
All right. What are we talking about?
So this one I think is pretty good. So we're diving in a little bit more about kind of some of the unspoken rules, the judgments, and power dynamics in modern wellness, things that are happening to women.
Fancy schmancy.
So kind of things, this concept that I kind of heard women talking about was kind of as like policing wellness and how, people are starting to look at wellness and shame and different things. And it's gotten, I don't know, it's like social media is telling us how to age, what to do. And so I think the thing looking at is, when did wellness stop being about health and start being more about control and what women can and can't do with their bodies? I think that's there's a lot that happens when we turn 40 and how things change. And I think we're gonna address it all today, but we're also gonna talk about too, is like the holy grail of how I think sometimes I hear people talking about, well, they want to do everything natural and they can only do it natural because natural is the best and you can't do any of these other things. And so I think we're going to kind of dive in a little bit more about some of these different aspects of it. So one of these was, who decides what's right for women's bodies? Mm-hmm. And you wrote down notes that you were going to address something specifically with this one.
I think that obviously we live in a society where it's very money driven, right? So everything from not only pharmaceuticals, but like, let's say you walk into, I'm just going to say it, like Sephora, right? I love Sephora, I really do. But at my age, it's appropriate to like do my thing. But at a very early age, I think companies like Sephora, and I'm sure there's many out there, they put out these products targeting, and they're geared towards little girls, right? So it starts so young to tell them what you should be putting on your face, how your body should look. They make them in like little pink bright boxes for them to be attracted to that. Like, girlfriend, you're 10 years old. Yeah, you want to walk into a Sephora with your mom and buy lip gloss that has like maybe no color, by all means, but you don't need hyaluronic acid on your face. Just the other day, I was trying to buy something for a 13-year-old little girl. And I was thinking, okay, what can she want, right? And so I asked her mom, would it be okay if I buy her makeup? So I asked permission. She's like, yeah, she's kind of starting to understand what makeup is. So I literally went in just to buy. I went to Target and I bought like mascara, lip gloss, and like a little blush. But shopping for that, I was like, wow, what do you buy a 13-year-old little girl? Because there's so much out there that should not be on anyone's face. Not anyone's face, but like a 13-year-old's face. But it was really hard to do. So going back to what's right for women and their bodies and stuff, I think the people that choose that for us from the beginning are these big companies that shove it down our throats, that you should be looking like this, you should be wearing this, you should put this on your face, and don't do this. And there's so many rules, but it's the big companies that just want money.
Well, yeah, and I think this brings something in, and it's so funny because this might be a hot topic, and this might be a debatable topic between you and me. So with that, because you mentioned that, I kind of wanted to get your opinion on Hollywood and what we're seeing these days, because you are in the GLP space and you do stuff with weight loss drugs. I worry a lot about, because I am in the weight loss space and I talk to women all the time, that we're starting to see these Hollywood actresses that are, I almost think about like, I don't know, 20 years ago when the whole supermodel thing was super, super skinny.
Like Kate Moss. She was like the ideal,
exactly,
very, very thin model.
And I feel like, so I thought it would be interesting for you and I to talk about it, because we're seeing, and I saw, there's a few of them out there. There's like Demi Moore and Ariana Grande, and just looking at some of them, and specifically looking at some of the women that are in their 40s and 50s that are so incredibly skinny, and we know it's because, and I think this goes into why people think weight loss drugs are so bad.
Yeah.
Right. And people give them such a bad name is because now I feel like we're shifting tides again where, I love the fact that it's funny. I equate GLPs as I used to say in my supplement industry, if there was a supplement or a pill that somebody could take that would automatically make them skinny, that person would be the biggest billionaire. Well, case in point, I think it's here. I think the GLPs are exactly that. They are, it started as an injection. It's now you can get it as a pill, whatever. I think it is exactly that. It is the pill that delivers weight loss for pretty much anybody. And now we're seeing it with these actresses that are becoming so incredibly skinny that I'm even finding moms that are telling me. So one of the things when women reach out to me and they want to work with me, I'm like, send me a picture of what you want to look like. Because sometimes it's really hard when you're talking to people. You have no idea what they're looking for.
Well, yeah.
More and more people are starting to send, well, I want to be like this. And to me, I look at it, I've always been in the bodybuilding industry. So that to me looks extremely skinny. And I worry about what people are doing to get to that point. So I just thought we could talk about it for a minute and just kind of see, like, coming from your standpoint, like, what do you think of that?
So let's rewind for a moment. So back in the 90s, so Kate Moss was we would just see her everywhere. She was a model, right? So it was, oh, are we supposed to look like Kate Moss and like be extremely thin? So that was questionable. And then years later, like Tyra Banks came out, curvy, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And then J-Lo's era happened where like, hey, I'm aging, but I'm aging beautifully. I have the 6-pack abs and the big booty and the thick thighs. And that came. And then the GLP started coming, where now you mentioned Ariana Grande. She looks extremely, she was very tiny and petite to begin with, but now she's like half of a half. Like she's very, very thin. And people are talking about, oh, it's the industry and the pressure of filming Wicked, and it's just everything is on her shoulders. She's in the limelight and all that. So I think we're kind of going through like the up and down, up and down, and up and down. So I always say that then you have the Kardashians, where you have, what's her name? What's the mom's name? Kris Jenner? Is that the mom's name?
I have no idea.
Okay, so I think the mom's name is Kris Jenner, and she went through like the plastic surgery where you're supposed to look like this. Mind you, she looks incredible, right? But those are being thrown in our faces all day long, right? So it's like, how do you decipher, am I supposed to look like this? Am I supposed to look like that? And when you said, oh, send me a picture of how you want to look, because you want to see psychologically what's that person's ideal body image, right? And can you even attain that? Can you get to that goal? And I always say, as long as you look like yourself, but a better version of yourself, that should be your true goal. So let's say when we talk about our GLP-1s, I find that these peptides are incredible. They level out so much in your system, and it's meant to be used as a tool. We always talk about it. If you're on a starvation diet and you're fasting and you're on a GLP-1, well, guess what? You're just an unhealthy individual. But if you're using the GLP-1s to get to a certain goal, but you're also nourishing your body, you're hydrating your body, that's the correct way of doing it. Because then when you take that one little element out of the equation, you will continue to practice those healthy habits and continue to lose the weight or keep the weight off. So it's you have to be very careful how you go about the GLP-1s and trust a good practitioner to help guide you. I'm telling you guys, you can't just buy this shit offline and say, I'm just going to inject. Mind you, this is not a hydroxycut. Let me just pop a pill. These are legitimate medications you are putting in your body. So side note, I just recently heard that the state of California is coming down hard on pharmaceuticals, especially the non-compounding pharmacies that are dispensing these medications. That's why when I say, yes, you can get the GLP-1 for $150 a month, that's not something healthy for you. They're probably some sort of substitution. It's a compounded formula. It's like you wanting to have a piece of broccoli. Do you go to Whole Foods and buy the best broccoli you can get, or do you want to get some artificial looking broccoli that kind of looks like broccoli, tastes like broccoli, but is it really broccoli? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So you want to be careful where you're getting it from. And guess what? The prices are going to get jacked up because half of these compounding pharmacies are getting closed down. The government is shutting this down because they're like, and I'm kind of happy that they are. It's not good for you guys because you're going to have to pay for the price. You get what you pay for, but then it's good because the government's looking out for us. They're not trying to get you to inject something in your system that's shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the reason why I brought it up was because of, women being judged harshly, women being things, is I found myself, right, from being, and just being really real with all of our listeners as feeling this moment of I'm not skinny enough, right? Because of seeing all these people and seeing them. And it was really interesting because what I've started seeing in the bodybuilding industry is I was kind of trying to figure out, like, what is it about these women that I'm looking at? And one of my friends that's in the bodybuilding industry, she's like, they almost look skeletal is what they've gotten to. And I was like, that is actually probably the first definition of it. And I found myself as somebody that's, I know fitness and nutrition. I know how to take care of my body and all this stuff, looking at it, and I think I've mentioned to everybody, I've never done any GLPs, but looking at it going, is that where I need to go in order to be relative in all of this? So, and why I bring it up and, with you and me and talking to it is because I know so many of our listeners, whether they're on it, whether they've tried it. I mean, I can't tell you how many people when they reach out to me and they're like, well, I don't know if I should spend the $1,000 to work with you for 3 months on coaching or if I should just buy a GLP.
It's easier to do the GLP because one, it's kind of like, here you go, here's a boost. It's going to help you in 3 months. You're going to be down 30, 35 pounds. But then it also goes back to the psychological aspect of things where you need to be held accountable, what you put in your body. That monkey in the back that's like, hey, you got to eat. That's silenced with the GLP-1. But if they come to you, it's people who are actually taking this very seriously. It's not a one and done. And they're accountable for what they eat, how they move their body throughout. You know what I mean? It's a whole different thing. Now you can do both. Absolutely. We want you to do both, right? Because you want to have, well, let's just say what Corry or others who do what you do help guide you and figure out hormones and eating habits and lifestyle. And then you have the practitioners that are dispensing this medication out to you. We all want you guys to succeed. It's a matter of, are you going to do it the right way?
Yeah. And I think, the bottom core industry of me, I still sometimes wonder, and this is, we kind of know that the majority of the health issues that most people were seeing today and have today is because of insulin resistance. Like we're just an obese, especially in the US, we're an obese nation and it has so much to do with insulin resistance. But what worries me a lot when I see these women, as they call them, skeletal, we're also dealing with a population of women that are aging that are at risk factors for stuff like osteoporosis and all this other stuff. And so getting this skinny and doing this stuff that's like wasting their muscles. So that's why when I see it, I try not to jump on my soapbox, but I get on my soapbox of saying, please take care of yourself. Like, I think it's a fabulous tool. But like you said, if you don't do all the other stuff, I'm really worried in 5 years from now, we're going to see a massive crisis of all these women that have done GLPs, not done it the right way, where they're, buying it off of somebody and they're, oh my gosh, I was walking the other day and talking to my neighbor and she's like, oh yeah, you can just find somebody that'll give you the bottle and then you could just I was like, it's awful. Holy fucking shit. It's like awful. Literally. And she told me, she's like, you could get it and you could just microdose it to your patients, like your clients. And it would elevate
that makes
your
me
whole.
very
and I'm
sad.
Like,
that sucks.
I'm like, I can't do that. That's not my background. This is a medical thing. Yes, I have clients of mine that I'll say, you need it. But, I'm also looking at people going, this could sound so horrible. And gosh, I hope we don't lose. Fucking do the work.
Yeah.
Please fucking do the work. Because if you want the results to last, I'm sorry, not everything in life should be so freaking easy. And that's what I just see with these people. I'm like, if you just want to lose weight and you're fine, then that's okay. You're just going to get skinny. But if you want to lose the weight, to get healthier, to not lose all your muscle, I can't even tell you. This is my new term for it. It's the GLP butt. I can't get over. There's so many women that I know.
There's the Ozempic face and the GLP butt.
No, I just look at them and they're like telling me, they're like, oh, I went on GLP and I lost all this weight. And they turn around. I'm like,
where did half of you
go? Where the fuck did your butt go?
I know.
It's like pancake butt.
It's
and then
so
they've
crazy.
got, I don't know. It's like, there's this fat on their like saddlebags. And I don't know. It's like so many of the women that have told me that they've done this. I'm like, why? I get
But
that you're
here's the
skinny.
thing. So okay, but hold on. But yes, you come from that background. So I
Yes.
get it. You're a
Yes.
bodybuilder. Yes,
Right.
I totally get that part. But when someone has been struggling with just wearing Spanx and not fitting into their clothes, the pants don't zip up the way they used to, their sex life sucks because they don't feel good about themselves and their bodies. When they get on the GLP-1, it helps to shed that weight off. So slowly what happens, your confidence starts to start back up again. You're like, hell yeah, okay, I'm looking good in my bra and panties. I look good in my jeans. I look good in my dress. I don't have to wear the Spanx where I'm sitting down, there's flubber or the mom pouch or whatever. Then slowly after you lose the weight, then get your ass into the gym and start rebuilding that muscle.
There's the different people. That's where I think it is.
Yeah.
There's the people that truly need it, and then the people that are trying to do it with a crutch and doing it really.
Yeah, because you know why? I don't blame them though, because if you've been overweight all your life, you've tried all the diets, the keto diet, the Mediterranean diet, the fasting, and it's just not freaking working. And then you get on the GLP, you're like, fuck yeah, finally something just, I've heard so many people, Anar, I haven't been this skinny in like, God knows how long, pre-babies, pre-marriage, pre-everything. And you can see the shift in their confidence. Who the fuck cares if you have a pancake ass or not? Like, you're feeling good about yourself. Yeah. I understand the whole muscle thing.
Yep.
I totally do. No one wants the fat skinny. Yep. Right? Where like you're just flubber, but at least get to a point where cardiovascular wise, you're good. Your heart is good. It's not pumping against all that fat that's sitting in your vessels. That's the best way to say it. You know what I mean? So if you have a little bit of toning up to do, by all means, yes, let 2026, 2027, honey, whatever, just do the work in the gym and get your body moving again. But lose the weight. That's so important to lose the weight because like you were saying, there's insulin, and not only like even cholesterol. Geez, people don't even know that they have cholesterol and they're like walking heart attacks waiting to happen.
Yeah. Well, and because I think people don't understand how tied insulin is to every single other hormone. It was really interesting. I was listening to a podcast, and when I'm listening to that podcast, and he's like, what's the master hormone? What's the hormone that's in charge of everything? And they're talking about all this and they're labeling all these. And I'm like, it's insulin, it's insulin, it's insulin. And then sure enough, the doctor goes, the hormone that dictates everything in your body is insulin. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense. And I'm all for it for the people that really, really need it. The people you were talking about, I think, which just frustrates me to no end is the people that are abusing it. They don't take care of themselves. They eat like crap or whatever. And then they're like, I'm just going to take this for this little whatever. And I'm like, those are the people that I'm like, you really, really. So those are the people that make me annoyed because when I talk to them and I look at their assessment form and it's a shit show. And I'm like, you so need to fix all this. And I'd love to tell them, like, I'd really like you to do this. But it's like, well, if you have to choose one or the other, then I don't know what to tell you.
And here's the thing, you're always going to have those types of people who want the shortcuts. Yeah. Who, let's just say, even like if someone comes to me and they want their lips done, I'm like, what you need to do is get rid of those lips. That's what you need to do. You don't need to add any more lip filler into your lips. You have like ginormous lips. Guess what? They're on Groupon trying to find the next best, cheapest alternative. And they go to a med spa down the street that will take your money and they will inject you. And that's how you end up looking botched. Those are the types of people that like, one, I can't even tolerate anymore. I'm like, whatever, dude. If you want to go botch your face and your body, do you, honey? Because I'm not your girl. I'm not going to be the provider that does that to you. But you're always going to have those people, you know? They're never satisfied. Never. They always want the next best thing. Yep. And it doesn't matter at what cost. You know, they're just going to not listen. Yeah. And they're not going to spend the money.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So it is what it is.
That was enough of a tangent.
But tell me how you really feel.
It needed to be said. I think it needed to be said. Okay. So then let's talk about a little bit about what's the biggest lie women are sold about midlife?
I think they have this picture perfect. They paint the picture perfect, the thing for you. Like, you have to have, by midlife, you should be a successful businesswoman. If not, you should be a successful mom, if that's even a thing. Like, your children should be in some like all sorts of sports. Your husband should be a successful man. Aesthetically, your house needs to be amazing. Midlife, that what you paint in your own how you feel is very different than the expectation of people. You know, that you're not supposed to lose your shit when your children are on your last damn nerve, or your husband is on your, like, just on your nerves, right? You're supposed to keep it cool, calm, collected at all times. That's such crap.
Yeah. And I think too that I was recently talking about my business and where I was going with it. And I feel like a lot of times women feel like if they have a business, it needs to go bigger, right? I think, and this feeds into the lies I think we were talking about earlier. 20 years ago, there was no social media.
Yeah.
When I was trying to put together this reel of the last 26 years of my life for like my anniversary thing, I had to go back to like photo books because we didn't have any of that stuff. That's not saved. But, there wasn't social media that was out there, and you didn't have all of these different things, and you couldn't look at these different things. But I feel like on social media, you're always saying, and maybe it's just me because I look at all the self-help stuff and whatever. It's like, okay, great. If you have 10,000 followers, your next goal should be you want 50,000 followers. And I remember saying, like, is it okay just to be okay where I'm at?
Yeah.
Like when you see social media, it's no, this is the next best thing. And okay, if you reach this weight loss goal, then you've got to go,
Yeah.
you got to do this or you got to do that. And so I remember saying, like, what if I just want to be here and just be content and
be present?
As we're currently recording this, it's the week of December goes on and on and on and on and on, right? And I feel like there's so many things to do. And I saw somebody that said, I'll just be in my house couch rotting because that's what I'm going to do. And I find myself as I get older, even though there's all these pressures of, okay, your business got to this point, I just want to be in the moment. Because when
it's so hard.
Because when I look at it and think, I'm 47. Let's say I live to be 80. Let's say I live to 80 as good years. That's like a little over 30 years and it's done.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure to be so much more. Whatever it is, it's when can we ever just be content in life? Every woman that I talk to in their 40s, I feel like is the next thing that they've got to do or the next thing that they've got to have their kids. And I feel like sometimes, and even in high school, like sometimes you'll be sitting there and it's like women are going like this and this and this and this and this and this, trying to be better than each other. I'm like,
you're one-upping one another. Yeah,
let's
it's
stop.
horrible.
We're not helping each other at all.
You can just be present in your own life. Not to say that you shouldn't have goals,
right?
And not to say that you shouldn't strive to be a better person or, take your business to the next level or your education to the next level, or even just trying something new with your children or your husband or improving your husband and your relationship. You should have those little mini goals, but not to the point where it overtakes like your brain and your self-worth, right?
Yeah.
And you just have to be in the moment of, hey, we're all doing the best that we can. So it's really important to understand that.
Well, it's interesting. I remember when I was younger in the gym, and one of my bodybuilding coaches said to me, like, going into the gym and prepping for fitness competitions and stuff and just like freaking out about all this other stuff and whatever. And he's like, nobody's paying any attention to you. He's like, when you're in that gym, nobody is looking at you. They're all looking at them. Like, what's in it for them? They're all looking at them. And, I think of that sometimes in this whole like hamster wheel that we sometimes get on, that everybody is just so concerned with themselves in any of those situations. So you just have to be that. And it doesn't have to be, because I'll go sometimes to places and we'll say stuff and I'll talk to people or something. And I later found, I think this has got to be hereditary because my mom does it. And I now realize my daughter does it. But she'll say something in a social situation or whatever. And you get home and you're like, what the hell why did I say that? And nobody else has probably thought about it but you. But it's the pressure sometimes of always being better.
So it's funny that you say that. So I was talking to someone and they said, if someone compliments me, I have a tendency, they said, of doing this. Let's say if I say, oh my God, I love the shirt you're wearing. They'll turn around and say, oh my God, thank you so much. I got it from Zara. I got it from H&M. Like, she goes, no one needs to know where you got it from. Like, what is the explanation? Is it because I got it from Target means I didn't spend that much money on it and it still looks good, so thank you? Are you trying to are you trying to be humble about the compliment? Just take the fucking compliment. Say, thank you so much.
Right.
I love your hair. Great. Yes, I did it at who cares where you got it done? How?
Just say
thank you so much.
And really appreciate it. I find, again, years ago in the bodybuilding industry, this isn't interesting because we talk about men. We're going to talk about men here in just a second too. The bodybuilding industry is all about men. Like it's it was all about men until like my business partner and I kind of came in and we were women. And I remember there was a time where we had our bodybuilding show and they were going to change everything. And there was this guy and he just came in and he was like, damn it, this is the way it's going to be. And it was the term. It was so funny because I asked somebody, I was like, I was telling you about it. And one of my like mentors, whatever, he's like, oh, that's the equivalent of a guy like coming in and slapping his dick on the table and saying, this is how it's going to be done. And I was like, okay. But so I remember Stacia was saying to me, she goes, we're just going to kill him with kindness. We're just going to kill him with kindness. I was like, this guy's going to like screw everything up, but he's going to ruin it. She's like, we're just going to kill him with kindness. Like she is like, you'll have to meet her at some point. She is the most calmest person I know. Like I will be like crazy. Like if she's mad, somebody has like committed the worst felony against her.
It takes a lot.
We're just going to kill him with kindness. I was like, she's like, you're just going to be kind. And I'm not kidding you. Within a year, everything had completely turned around. And because we just continued to like kill them with kindness. And this person eventually was like heisted out. And they're like, why didn't everybody tell me that this person was awful and all this other stuff? Funny because I find it now with my daughter. I keep telling her to kill everybody with kindness because I find the same thing. Like sometimes when I'm in the room with women that are like in our 40s and 50s, I'm like, are we literally in high school? Like, what is going on? Why are we being mean to people? Like, I have been standing on the field watching the game. And I told my husband, I'm like, you have to come with me because if you don't come with me, nobody talks to me.
Yeah.
And so I just find myself, kill him with kindness, kill him with kindness. Because same thing with my daughter. So she'll find that people won't talk to her on the team or they're like, give her side eyes or whatever. I'm like, just kill him with kindness because it all goes back to, it was, when you look at, you mentioned Kate Moss, evidently, it was just without a doubt, there's something about Kate Moss that she was like, I hate this. Yeah. All of us have something on us that whether, you see somebody and they're the perfect image of beauty, if you were to talk to them, they would say, I can't stand this about me. And so if you just kill people with kindness and be kind to people, it changes kind of the reality of things. But I think it's so kind of when you were talking about Sephora, this whole should, and women are filled with the you should, and you must do in order to feel better, to look better, to succeed, and it isn't in men.
And I'll tell you another thing. It all goes down to this. So when you look at men and women, for example, women even little girls, we are known for like youth and beauty, right? As we age, that youth and beauty tends to decline, right? You're not youthful anymore. You start getting the wrinkles, the gray hair. The beauty part of it it stresses us out so much because you're like, I'm not young anymore. Versus a little boy who grows into a man. Growing up, men, it's more wisdom. They're wiser. They're more intelligent. And we take, let's say, Clint Eastwood, right? A well-known actor, and he's a director. He has his face on like salad dressing and all that stuff, right? So as he's aged, wrinkles, gray hair, even like a dad bod and all, right? He's a grandpa, I'm sure. But we take him with such like, oh my God, he's Clint Eastwood. But if you look at a woman who's aging, even in the industry, like acting or even just a normal woman, that health and beauty or the youthfulness that she once had is now declining, right? Your body changes, you go through pregnancy, or maybe not even pregnancy, but anything, hormonal changes, you become a little heavier than what you used to be 20 years ago. Now that shifts. How come we don't look at that woman as a beautiful person anymore? So now we get shoved down our throats. You should be using this foundation. You should be this weight. You should have your hair color a certain way. Don't let your hair graze. The grays show. It's like such a fucked up thing that we do to one another. And I'm not saying that women shouldn't get work done. If you want it done, by all means. I'm in the industry, and when my sister says, well, Nar, you're 43 years old. You're not supposed to have a body like this person. You're not supposed to, just act your age. And I'm like, what does that even mean? For me, acting my age is still being youthful and fun and sexy. I still want to look and feel good about my body and my hair color. My eyebrows are done and they're plucked and they're laminated, like all that stuff. I still look natural, but I still do things that I want to feel good about. So I don't know. It's such a it's a double-edged sword. You know, men grow up and they're wise, and you know, you're the stallion. But then women grow old, and we look at them as old women, like sad old women.
I just posted this thing on social media, and it was basically, it says, girl to girl, take care of yourself so that you don't become bitter against the women who do take care of themselves.
Amen, honey.
Because
Amen.
I think that is
Don't
the case.
hate on it.
I think a lot of times, and you know, what we find is women that are giving you a hard time and saying you should be doing this or you should react like this, I think it's because they haven't aged with it or they haven't stuck with it. And because somebody is, you know, 43 and looks amazing, and then they're like, well, you don't look like other 40-year-olds, so you need to act like other 40-year-olds. And then that becomes this whole thing where you're like, no. And I can't even tell you, because it's funny, because every time you reference the gray hair, I'm like sitting here with my gray hair thinking about it.
Right, but you could have easily said, no, I don't want to have gray hair. You know, I want to do this and I want to have, and that's fine too. Both are okay. But don't judge the person who does have the gray hair and say, well, Corey does, like, she should be getting this done and she should be getting
what's
that
funny
done.
Is men have no problem if they have an issue with my hair being gray telling me. It is the number one thing that I get the most compliments and the most criticisms about is my hair.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how many people will, like, the other day I was at Trader Joe's checking out and they're like, I love your hair color. Like, that's a bold choice for like hair that you want that. And then they look at me and they're like, and I say, it's natural. And they're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's the guy at church that's like, you would look so much better and so much younger and prettier if you dyed your hair. So, you know, there's people that have their own opinions about stuff and what things people say. So it's just interesting. And I find it's interesting how many people feel like they can say it to women and not, but not even think about like the ramifications of what that does to women. Yesterday, I was in my car. So you're familiar with the Riviera Village, and anybody that's familiar with Riviera Village, you know, driving down by Trader Joe's right there, that road is kind of a little crazy. It's a two-way road, right? Yeah. So my daughter's in the seat with me. I'm driving down, right? And I just pull down, and this guy is coming the other way. I'm in my lane and whatever, and he's like, watch out, you stupid old fucking mother bitch. And I was like, what is going on with this guy?
Oh my God.
I don't know if he was like, he was in a convertible, whatever. I don't know if he thought like it was a one-way street or whatever. And my daughter was like, she was shaking. She was like, what was wrong with that dude, Mom? And I was like, I don't know. Some people just feel like they can say whatever they need to say.
If you were to be alone, if you had been alone, would you have said something?
Probably.
Yeah.
I probably would have said something like, dude, like,
get
learn
the
to
fuck out of here.
drive.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm sitting there going, I don't know what you're thinking here. Because he actually kind of veered a little into the lane. I think he seriously thought it was a one-way road. But it amazes me how people will say stuff like that. Like, because I feel like sometimes almost like I was a woman and I was driving and he was a man and I was in his way or whatever. But he was just, and then I remind myself.
And then the comments, like, really, from that one split second, you came up with old mom, you know, all the terms. Like, really, dude? And
the funny thing, I mean, there were so many people around us. Like, it was packed. There were so many people and they were all kind of like looked at him. So I was like, okay, because immediately I was like, I must be on like a one-way street. Like, I must be doing something really wrong.
Then you start to second guess yourself.
What? And I was like, no. I'm like, there's a yellow line there. This is definitely a two-way street. But it's amazing what people will say to others in terms of whatever it might be. And I generally, when that happens to like my kids, so I'm so horrible about saying it to myself, but when it happens to my kids, I'm like, that's something they're dealing with internally with them. It probably has nothing to do with you. Something is going on inside of them and they just need to. And so that's why I thought when I heard that, take care of yourself so you don't become bitter at the people that do take care of themselves. I was like, that's so true.
That's such a great line. Because another thing that I always hear is, oh, she looks so good for being 50. I'm sorry. What is a 50-year-old supposed to look like? And is it our fault that people say that? Is it because the majority of 50-year-olds look a certain way? So then when you come out of that little bubble and you look, let's quote unquote, great, then someone says, oh, you look great for 50. Well, what the fuck am I supposed to look like at 50? Am I supposed to look like shit at 50? Am I supposed to look, you know what I mean? Like, How is that fair to us? And why do we do that? Like, she looks so good. Like, her body's so great for her age. Well, yeah, I get it. You're the outlier because most women, when they're 50, 55 years old, don't look so sharp because it's just life beats you up a little.
Yeah.
You know, and you lose yourself halfway.
Yeah. But
I love that line, what you just said.
And I would say to women too that are listening to this, really take care of yourself. My mom just recently had an ankle replacement surgery, and just watching all the stuff. I mean, she's 69 years old, but because of the fact that she didn't have really good balance on one leg, then they made her basically stay in the hospital for 4 days and then go to a rehab center for 10 days. That basically I'm sitting there going, okay, I immediately was thinking, well, how would I have done this differently?
Yeah.
So I'm still doing my push-ups and I'm still walking, and it's doing everything I can, because I think, in our 40s, we really have to think about longevity and what does it look like. And so regardless of what social media is telling you or people are telling you, my biggest advocate for women at this age is take care of yourself, because I want to live. And my mom said to me, she's like, when I can't take care of myself anymore and I'm in a nursing home and, I can't get out of bed or whatever, I just want to end life. And I'm like, well, Mom, you aren't an animal. I can't just say, give her a shot and
You're
goodbye.
bye.
I said, so really what I want women to do is, regardless of what you're seeing, just take care of yourself. Just do what you need to do to feel good, to take care of yourself, because we're living longer these days. And we want to be able to live longer and enjoy it.
And I'm sure people who are listening are going to say, well, I don't have the money to, let's say, join a gym. I don't have the money for GLP-1s. I don't have money to afford you, Corry. I don't have money for all that. A lot of life is about the money, right? And your resources. But I think even if you make the smallest changes in your home will make the biggest difference. Like, don't eat cup of noodle soup. Just try not maybe do something else, like eat soup that you made from scratch, like something.
Yeah.
So little tweaks will help you have better habits, and then those habits will create bigger opportunities. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh crap, like this is where I started from, this is where I'm at now. I look great and I feel great. As long as you feel good, that's what matters.
And I always like to say to people that say they don't have money for a gym or whatever, I'm like, you can walk, you can do push-ups, you can do squats, you can do sit-ups. None of that requires a gym. If we think about, remember when the whole COVID lockdown hit, I looked at my husband, I was like, I'm going to get fat. This is just awful. I'm going to get fat. And he looked at me, he's like, what is, because I had always gone to the gym. Yeah. I didn't think that, and then I heard Mel Robbins say, she's like, if you have a floor in your house, you can work out. Yeah. I was like, oh, right.
And nowadays, I feel like even on YouTube, there's so many free videos.
Yeah.
So much content out there that you can follow, you can do your thing.
Yeah. And so I think that's ultimately, I think we're saying kind of the same thing. Is just take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Social media is going to feed you a lot of crap that you don't have to do. And yeah. So I'm all for take some breaks from social media and get off of it. And I started doing this a while ago. If I see a post and it makes me feel awful, I immediately unfollow that person, because why should they be a part of my feed? Why should I keep seeing it?
Yeah.
So, so some of the things that I see in social media these days about women should do this and women should do that. And I'm like, that just needs to go away.
You know what? I have to like say something. When I see something on social media, like a post that I disagree with. It's like, so I just saw a holiday post of a family, and mind you, the photos look beautiful. The mom looks really, really good. But the poses in the photos were it reminded me of the Addams Family. You know how they have like very stoic, like a straight face, like very model-esque. I'm like, this is supposed to be your holiday family shoot. Here you have the two little children smiling and laughing in the photos, and the mom is just like posing this way and that way, and without a smile. She did not crack a smile. She was just in this whole model thing going on. And I wanted to comment, get off your high horse. You look great, but can you crack a smile? You're not just fuck it. What are you trying to prove? But I couldn't, because if I had said anything, I would have immediately been a Karen. Like, God forbid, if you say something on social media against what the popular thing is, oh my God, you're immediately labeled as a Karen. fuck you guys.
I know it's so hard because I know exactly what you're
Because I
talking about.
really want to say what I really want to say, but I'm like, Nar, don't say anything because you're going to get a lot of backlash because you're going against the grain.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, really fucking lax. You're not a celebrity. And even if you were, like, just crack a smile. Your children are in these holiday photos. We all get that. You look great. You look fantastic in these photos, but Jesus Christ. And that's the pressure. And that's what we see online, that my house is supposed to look like that. My holiday cards are supposed to look like that. My living room is supposed to look like Restoration Hardware. Those are the little things that I see on my feed that I'm like, this is just stupid.
Yeah. That's why you got to find friends that you can get along with.
That I can have this
stuff.
podcast and I can just vent to everyone and say, that's stupid. You guys don't fall for it.
You can come along and yeah, I will never live down years and years and years ago. Gosh, my kids were in elementary school. I made one comment on Facebook and it wasn't even political. It was about like one person who my husband had served with, but it was this tirade of all this unlashing of, and I was like, I didn't even mention anybody else. I just mentioned this one person that was going to be, it was one person that was chosen to be the Secretary of Defense of the entire United States. And this general was like life-changing. His wife was like life-changing for me when I lived in Japan with my husband. And that was it. I was like, I was so honored to see that this person was chosen. And so it went all in. I mean, it was race, religion, politics. All of it got pulled into one post. And I was like, I will never, ever. Since then, I've never, ever made any post that was slightly whatever. But it's crazy because you really, it's hard to have an opinion these days and say what you want to say.
Your opinion will matter. Absolutely. Your opinion will matter if you agree.
Right.
But if you disagree, God forbid, you have to shut up. You can't say anything. It's like, I wish we can have like a social media, like a little thing on the side where we can just truly speak about how we really feel.
Yeah.
And not just be like, oh my God, you look so great.
Well, that's why we're going to be here doing it all about anything wellness and aesthetics and beauty and weight loss. So again, always let us know if there is something you want us to specifically cover, especially now that you've heard that we're willing to go there and cover all the topics.
And I will be the Karen of this podcast. Fuck that. I'm Nar. I'm just going to say it however.
My poor mom's name is Karen.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Karen.
So that one is a wrap for us today. Bye.